woman to man, man to woman, penis and vagina, man to woman, woman to man, man to woman, penis and vagina.
Hello, Alec here. This is the Feuilleton. How did you like my new intro? I figured there was no better way to celebrate the cinema than a death metal version of that dumbass song from Amelia Perez. So it's that time of year. It happens once a year, much like gonorrhea. And also like gonorrhea, it makes it hard for me to pee. The Academy Awards are this Sunday. And with this comes the usual combination of celebration, outrage, both performative and legitimate, and the very real and necessary discussions as they pertain to representation in a field that has always been mired in patriarchal, whitewashed doggerel. Now, a bit of personal history. The Oscars used to be the only thing that I would ever consider to be my Super Bowl. I am a lifelong student of film and its history, and a lifelong hater of sports. So this was always the time of year where I could really engage in my fantasy football league of cineasts' pretentiousness. I would watch the self-flating, ass-kissing schmooze fest that was the Academy Awards with rapt attention every year, with my friends or alone, for most of my life. This all changed within the last 10 to 15 years when AMPAS, the Academy of Motion Picture and Sciences, made the harebrained decision to expand its normal list of 5 Best Picture nominees to an engorged 10. Now, I have since come to feel that the Best Picture Oscar is a joke award in and of itself. Usually, and I'll probably do another video on this down the road, most of the Best Picture winners throughout its history are not the kind of films that withstand the test of time. When was the last time you heard anyone talk about Coda? It was only like 2 or 3 years ago. Or The Artist, or The English Patient, or Green Book with any other tone than anger. Yes, AMPAS has shown some love in recent years to some truly cinematic, forward-thinking, deserving films. I think about Parasite, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Birdman, and especially No Country for Old Men. But in its near-century-old history, the Best Picture category has always been just a meat parade for its mawkish, most crowd-pleasing nominees. Thesis statement, potential hot take. A film begins and ends with its director. Yes, I know there are screenwriters out there who will disagree with me on this, and to an extent they would not be wrong. But ultimately, a so-called prestige picture is made in accordance to the whims of that person helming the making thereof. And that person, I will say, is not the producer. Most definitely not. It is the person who is calling the shots day in and day out, delegating tasks to their many collaborators in the singular task of fulfilling that person's cinematic vision. With that said, it has always puzzled me that the Best Director category and the Best Picture category are not one and the same. I want to talk about Ang Lee for a second. I feel that Ang Lee has had the most singularly diverse filmography of any director in mainstream Hollywood history. He has directed a proto-MCU film that it was really just a 3-hour character study in the form of The Hulk, which I actually feel is underrated. A wuxia epic in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. An erotic, nihilistic study of espionage in Lust, Caution, which is probably one of my all-time favorite movies. A CG-forward literary bit of cinematic magical realism in The Life of Pi, and an achingly intimate study of human love in The Dying West, Brokeback Mountain. In addition to quiet family dramas and westerns, Wedding Banquet, Ride with the Devil, and Wherever the Twain Shall Meet. Now everyone, and I mean everyone, thought that Brokeback was a lock for Best Picture in 2006. Regardless of whether or not they enjoyed the film, it was the most foregone of conclusions for that year's award ceremony. This is not up for debate. This was solidified by the metadata, and it was cemented even further when Ang Lee ended up taking home the Best Director Oscar that year. So imagine then the shock and annoyance that we all felt when it was announced that the dumb, prosaic mega turd that was Crash took home the most important award of the night. the Best Picture Oscar. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. It had suggested an annoying trend where it seemed as if the Best Director award was meant as nothing more than a consolation prize for the film that was more deserving of winning. It was like Ampus said to Mr. Lee, sorry, we know your movie was better, but we have Paul Haggis in our pocket. He's a Scientologist at the time. He's also friends with Clint Eastwood, and they bribed us. So we're just going to give it to that film instead. But enjoy your gold naked dude or something. I wasn't really there. Now I want to also talk about Irving G. Thalberg. Irving G. Thalberg was one of the most important figures in the early Hollywood system, aka the golden years. He was a man who worked tirelessly even toward the integrity of the creation of what he deemed good cinema, for better and most certainly for worse. He innovated more efficient means of churning out profitable films, he showed a deft hand in choosing scripts, and he was instrumental in launching the careers of innumerable actors who would go on to be household names in this time frame. Most importantly, he did not believe in taking credit when no credit was due. His work was solely behind the scenes as a tirelessly working tycoon who had a hand in literally every aspect of a film's creation from the ground up. After his tragic and untimely passing at the age of 37, the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Oscar was created as an honorary award to be periodically given out to those producers whose work is deemed worthy of recognition beyond having their names plastered on the title card. To date, it has only been given out 39 times since its inception. I want to again reiterate that Thalberg never sought the spotlight, and that he felt that the work should speak for itself. With this in mind, I feel that it is bizarre that the person who accepts the Best Picture Oscar is its producers, and not the person or people who directed it. So, how do we fix this? I feel that there are a few ways that we can fix this award ceremony. For one, we cut that number down to 5. Case in point, there was positively no reason as to why Top Gun Maverick, which is a film that I enjoyed, by the way, or Barbie, which is another film I enjoyed, should ever get a Best Picture award nomination. The sheer glut of nominees in this category just makes for padding and needless filler, and there are numerous films that are nominated that have no business standing alongside your Parasites or your Tars. And yes, I guess that this can be seen as snobby by some, but the very nature of the Academy Awards is to celebrate film snobbery. That is literally its reason to exist. You can have your MTV Movie Awards if you want your Top Guns or your Twisters to get nominated. Furthermore, we combine the Best Director and Best Picture Oscar into one category. And to this end, we could even keep the number of nominees to 10, as it would allow for more representation as it pertains to women and people of color. It should make everyone irredeemably angry that only 9 women have ever been nominated for Best Director. And of those 9, only 3 have ever won the award outright. Only one of those women, Chloe Zhao, was a person of color. Additionally, we should expand the Best Actor and Actress categories to include around 6 to 8 nominees for the same reason. But, Alec, you say, what about the already legendarily elongated runtime of the telecast itself? Wouldn't expanding the amount of nominees in its key categories make it run even longer, you ask? Probably. I don't give a shit. Perhaps if Ampus cuts down on the needless self-congratulatory up its own acidness, we can make room for everyone. So there we go. Thank you for watching. And remember, there are but 3 certainties in this crazy world: pee-pee, poo-poo, and death. Kisses.
Man to woman, woman to man to woman. Penis in vagina, man to woman to man to woman. Penis in vagina.